Hi guys. Okay, welcome back. So what I did here is I just wanted to come back and touch on this. Here's my my first base pass. Okay. So again, I'm taking a look at some of the sketches that I have right here. I'm going over some of the key shapes. I still like this shape here. So I just did a quick pass on what I envisioned this guy right here. The ones that I liked were this one up here in the corner. I had marked him before. Oops. Here we go. I had marked him. Here, I'll put little checks next to him. I like that guy here. I like this guy in here. I like this guy a lot. He's probably going to be the one I'm probably going to get to be most successful with. I also like this guy for more of a mining purpose. So I just wanted to pause the video right here. I don't like to upload more than 30 minutes onto YouTube, so I'm going to go ahead and just put this away and then keep working here really quick. And then I'll pause a little bit in between to save some time. So again, I'm not trying to spend more than about 2 hours into this, just working out sort of my design process. So one of the things I thought of doing right now is coming in here, taking this guy here, and I wanted to take the body elements in here and just drop them down and then extend them a little bit and see what I end up with. Okay, so let me come over here. I have some parts that are floating around here that I wanted to reuse again. Okay, so again, working with big shapes, thinking of consistency and no detail. I just have some cool angular shapes in there. What I thought on this guy was just making him more like a tank and losing these legs here. So what I'm going to do is come in here. Let me ungroup these right here and group them again. Let's ungroup again here. I'm just going to take these elements out right here. Okay, and group this guy here. Okay, there, get that element out there. Actually, let me back up there. I might keep the support. So I'm going to take out this part here, and same thing right in here. Let's ungroup that, and take out this. I'm going to keep, let me sort of lock up on here. Okay, keep these guys right in here, group them together. Okay, and come over here. Let's group this guy together. Now, my thought was here, I'm going to take this guy here since he's finished, hide him, and then come back to that. I was going to use that part in just a second with a couple of these. So I just want to see a variation if I group this whole entire body together right now. Let's see what I have here. So let me just group it. I'm going to touch the turret separate. There we go. And then group it. So that way I can find the turret if I want to adjust it. And then I was going to drop it down somewhat lower like this and see what happens if I modify him a little bit. And again, since he's separate here, I can come over into my outliner, okay, over here on the side, and I can look for it. I can open them up, and I have the body as a separate piece. So this way, if I want, I can stretch out the body a little bit and see what might happen to my vehicle here if I make some minor adjustments to it and stretch them out a little bit. Again, this could be a version of my vehicle that's lowered now, okay. Something else I like to do in something like this, what if I just take part of that vehicle, I'm going to see if I can duplicate them, flip them upside down, scale it down a little bit, and I might add a section of this to my vehicle and see what happens. The whole process here of exploration and having fun. What's cool is that could look like the underneath of a ship right here. Okay, give me a second. Get that fixed. There we go. I mean, without a doubt, that could totally look like the underneath of a ship there. So what I was thinking of doing right here is, give me a second. There we go. Get that locked up here. Let me ungroup him. I want to take a couple pieces off of him. There we go. Okay, so I might separate, let's ungroup again here. I was thinking about separating part of this body element here. I could use that again a little bit later at another build. So I'm going to grab that. That's just a key mass shape right there. And I like this part right here a lot. That looks like some type of transportation element here. So I'm going to go ahead and move this over a teeny bit in here, grab this, bring it over here. I noticed I did have a couple of changes. Let me address these changes really quick here. When I expanded up my model, I recentered some parts. So let me see if I can fix this right now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, drag some of this out to about here. Drag this part out to about here. Okay, and let's go here. Let me rotate this guy a little bit. Do the same thing here. What was that? That was, I'm just going to eyeball it for right now. Okay, there we go. I'm going to get that out there and get this one along the edge here. Cool, so now I have another shape here, and I'm just curious to see where I might be able to put some of this in here. Perhaps I shrink it down. Heck, I could add it to the back of my vehicle here if I wanted to. and make it look much longer, much more defined. Look at that. Could be another element added onto the back. That's pretty cool. I sort of like how that fits right in there. So what I'm going to do right now is let's just place this in here. Okay, let me rotate it up a little bit. Okay. There we go. Let me just try that again and make sure I have shift held down so when I rotate it doesn't get off kilter. There, that's pretty cool. Okay. And then I had the idea of taking these back here, moving these back, let's say, and making them larger. Okay. So give me a second here. I need to fix I notice I grabbed a vertex there. Let's just take a couple of these vertices here and move them back into place. Okay, so these are rough shapes again, you guys. Not tons of detail here, but I want to try to keep them somewhat accurate in a sense with what I'm doing. So now what I'm thinking about doing is taking these. Let's inverse these. Let's flip them into the negative here. Okay, so I'm going to come over here, type in -1, get these in position about here. So now I'm going for a much larger vehicle that's going to have some type of really large tread base in the back here. Let me see if I can't come over here and make some adjustments. Give me a second here. Let's do this individually. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to select these right here. I'm going to really pull these up, make them a lot massive in shape. Again, shape variation. That's similar to here. That was similar to this. So let's go small, medium, large here. Got much larger tread detail in the back here. Again, let's avoid any 90 angles. So I'm going to take these here. I'm going to move these off. I'm going to pinch them over like this. I hate 90-degree angles, guys. You know, one little step about designing, if you want to just be a better designer, is avoid 90-degree angles. It's really easy. You know, 90s kill almost everything that you do. Okay, they're boring. There's nothing really to it. Anyone can do it. That just rhymed, huh? It's boring. There's nothing to it. Anyone can do it. There. So that's cool. I like right there immensely. I start to get a better feel for some type of, look at how cool that pattern is. And with those triangular shapes. Nice obtuse angles in there. Let me see if I got both those back there. See if I can bring this tread back in here. And even if this overlaps a little bit for right now, that's fine. Let's see if I can scale it down. And let's go back to yeah, about there, let's say. Bring this down, okay? There. So that's cool. I really like what's happening there. Let's go back here. If you remember now, I had inside these shapes right here. Okay. You know what? I noticed when I scaled that down, it did something to the vertices there. Let me see if I can fix that real quick here. Let's go to vertices. Vertices here and here. See, I want to see if I can select this group of vertices right in here and use the scale tool and sort of scale them up a little bit more. There we go. See if I can use all of them there. I don't want to get those. Give me a second. This is where I'm getting picky. Let's see if I can just select these in here and these here. Okay. What I'm going to do now is just sort of bring these up a little bit to add a little bit more thickness to that particular piece here. Oops. Look at it in the shaded mode. There we go. Actually, give me a second. I see what I want to adjust now. I want this one, that one there. I'm going to bring these down. There we go. Add a little bit of thickness there. Same thing here. That one, that one, that one, and this one. And drop these down just a little bit. That's cool. Okay, there. Okay, so let's you know, it's a quick demo here, right? Let's group those together here. Let me hide those. I want to group these together really quick here. I also noticed that I have these objects in here, so I'm going to bring these out again. There we go. So I hid those in there. I'm going to see if I can bring them out. Let's see if I can rotate them. And these could be, you know, they're cool little details that are on there. I like details like that. It beats having just a square shape. In fact, I like it so much, I'm going to duplicate this right now, bring it down a little bit further, and see if I can't manipulate it a little bit more. Yeah, like that. And then stretch it off a little bit. Okay. And then get this to sort of fit in here. This looks like it could be some type of heavy industrialized military padding that's going to, you know, keep my vehicle protected. See that? It's just a little something on there instead of it being so plain and empty. Okay, so let's go back over here. There's my body shape that I extended, I put down. I have my fronts right here. There's that vertex again that I had a problem with before. Let me see if I can sort of jump in here and take a look at that real quick, and let's fix what happened. I do this often whenever I'm moving stuff around super duper fast, you know, with hotkeys. Especially if I'm working rough, I can accidentally move some things around. There we go. That's fine. That's a little mistake there. No worries there. There we go. It's not the end of the world right now. Okay. Again, I'm going for a rough shape read here. So here, let's go back here. Let's take these D. Sorry, I'm talking to myself. I'm talking about some of my hotkeys here. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and bring these back a little bit here. And I wanted to bring them back because I like the feel of this front piece coming down quite a bit. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Let's gosh, you know what? I really messed up on these vertices here, but that's okay. Speed, just aiming to work fast, right? So there, let's get that back down in a position there. Okay, there. So last thing I want to do right here is notice I had these floating bits of information in there. Right there. So I want to grab this one here, bring those out. I'm going to come over here, look to the other side. There's the ones on the other side. Okay, so now that I have those selected, let's grab those same details out here. I'm going to rotate them up a little bit. Let's make these a little bit different. I'm going to stretch these guys out right here, make them look like there's some type of, you know, that military padding that I was talking about a little bit earlier. Rotate this up right here. Okay, there we go. And I have one turret up here now, right? Remember, I kept that turret separate. Zoom in there. Okay, I got one turret there. I don't like the tangency of it hitting that edge right there, so I'm going to see if I can't grab it, scale it up just a little bit like so. Okay, once that's scaled up, I'm going to see if I can't come in here and perhaps duplicate that turret. Let's see if I can move that turret to the back here and scale him down a little bit. Okay, now, I had the idea of this vehicle being... more of a, I like the extension back here. I feel like putting some type of other element on the back here, some type of mining drill or something. But for right now, just to mess with silhouettes and see where I end up, I'm going to go ahead and just take this turret that I have here. What I'm going to do is make him a little bit smaller like so. Bend him into position here, and maybe he just sort of fits up there. So there's a secondary turret behind. All right, you got to have a gun behind you, right? So that's it. So let's go ahead. Let's take this guy here, and I'm going to go ahead and group the body parts together. Let's group the turrets. I always like keeping that stuff separate so I can adjust it really quick if I want. And then let's see. I thought I had these grouped. I didn't. Let me group that side. And I would come in and label this on my own time just to have it properly labeled so it's easier to move through. Okay. There we go. So let's group those right there. Let's group the whole thing together. Voila. Take this. And let's say display show all. Okay, there we go. So now I have another version. So I could take this version over here. Let's go over here. Let's pitch him at a slight angle. Let's take a look at him. And then I have this other version here that I just created in the past 10 minutes. Okay, and let's take a look at him. Okay, so real quick here. I'm going to hide a bunch of my working parts that I have. Okay, here we go. Oops. I could move them over here. I'm getting more space now. Let's ungroup those. And what I'll do is take all these right here that I have, hide, and let's zoom in here. So let's look at the difference here. I like the sensibilities of this. I like the transition. It feels different. It feels a lot heavier. Something else that I like about it is when I zoom in here, I really like some of the geometric shapes and angles that I have in here, and I also like the transitions between the size variations for the tank tread. So that right there is really interesting me. I like this back element that I put on here with the hoses. I like the rear gun. What's cool is this could really look like a ramp could come out of here. Troops could be running down the back of that. And then this thing could still be sort of moving along as some type of destroyer. So when I look at the differences here, this one was much more raised. It has sort of an animal feel, or, you know, quadruped feel to it because of being elevated like that. It had sort of a grasshopper tiny body that's in there, and just immediately just spending that 10 minutes and being spending 10 minutes and being able to come in here and take a look at this is really right now moving my design level one step up. Okay, So the next thing that I want to do, if I come back over here, let's grab my Photoshop image. Okay, I'm going to take a look, and I want to model, rough model a guy like this right in here. Let's go for something like this, and then I'll come back and do this towards the end. And then when those are done, I'm going to pick one or two of those, merge some parts together, and see what I come up. And I'm much more likely to be successful in this design process from taking the time to just think about what it is that I'm doing. So I will pause, I'll be right back, and then we'll continue forward and jump into this guy here. What's cool about him is he has 3 pads, and he has some of these really nice sort of spherical shapes with some geometric angles in there. I think that could be a lot of fun to mess with, okay? So I'll be right back. Okay, so here we are back. I like to save the recordings after every 10-15 minutes, so that's why I take off real quick. Let's do another one. Let's come over here. Let me ungroup this guy. Let's come in here. I'm going to delete some of the parts here. I want to save part of this turret right here, so I'm going to just push that over. This other stuff here, I think for right now I'm going to delete this and start new, but I'll keep some of the tank treads that's there and take these guys. Let's hide those. Okay, let's jump over here. Let's start here. So I'm looking at, let's go back to my Photoshop image. Let's look here. Look at this guy. He has this big sort of round viper forehead. He has what look like huge attachments. These could be thrusters, wings of some kind. They could be turrets, guns. It could be a combination of elements. So I really like that guy. So I'm really going to, let's dive in here and see what I can do real quick. I'm going to go ahead and start with just a rough sphere right here. And it's a little boring right now, but that's fine. I can mess with it in a little bit. In fact, here, why don't I do this right now? Let me go ahead and let me get a lattice on here real quick. My hotkeys got all messed up the other day. So give me a second here. Let's go over here. Let's go into animation and create deformers. Okay, let's go to lattice, bring up the option box. I tend to leave my lattice at like 5, 5, and 5 just as a base to use whenever I want. So there we go. Hit apply, close. Now it's set. Awesome. That way I can quickly come in and I can make some modifications pretty quickly. So let's just take these right here. I'm going to pinch these a little bit. I'm going to pinch that a little bit more. That's sort of cool. And then what I'll do is maybe grab this and bring this back down a little bit like so. That's good. Okay, delete my history. Cool. Okay. And the other ship shape I had at a pretty massive tilt. So I'm going to go ahead, tilt this guy up here. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's duplicate this guy here. All right. Let me go back over. Oops. Need to move back over. Get my move tool in here. Okay. And there we go. Okay, let's double check some of those options. Let's go to object world. There we go. Object setting. Cool. That's done. Let's close that. Minimize here. Expand my window open a little bit more. Same thing here. Sorry guys, 1 second. Give me a little bit more workspace. There we go. So I got that done. Take this, bring this shape down in here. That's sort of cool. I like how one overhangs over the other. Let me duplicate that. We're going to use that on the side over here. I'm going to flip that up a little bit. I like to work off a 90, so I'm going to go ahead and get this set back again where it should be to have that. When I say work off a 90s, not have 90s inside there, but just adjust pieces to fit. There we go. So I was thinking that would be sort of like the head shape. So let's move this back over here. Let's take a look at the body. Let's come over here. Let's bring this back. Let me go back. Let's take a look at the Photoshop art. This had 1 tread in the front and 2 in the back. Okay. So let me come back into that here. bring this shape over here. Let's see here. Let's get this guy in. Okay. I haven't made a decision what else I want to be on this guy right now. I don't know if I want there to be guns, turrets, or anything, so I'm not going to worry about that. I don't like that edge there. That doesn't feel well. So I'm going to see if I can't bring this guy back inside and manipulate him a little bit more. Get him to maybe piece inside here like that or something. Okay. And let's take a look at the sketch again. Okay. So I have some elements on the back here that could be curved. Yeah, I need much more curve in there and some other cool shapes. So let's do that right now. Let's take this guy here. I'm just going to see what happens if I can thin this guy up a little bit, turn him out. Okay. Think about bring him over here. Throw Lattice on him. Figure out, let's take a look at the sketch again. Let's look at the body here. So I can't really see. I got some pipes to go back, some things that might connect up. This is where now I'm going to have to sort of take that other step and see what comes in here, what develops. So let's just do that. Let's just grab this. Let's pull this back in here. I want to grab some more of these other geometric shapes that I have back here. These just sort of rough, plain, simple shapes, and see how I can sort of pull some of these in and what I come up with. Okay. There we go. Let's go ahead. Let's take this guy. Let's get him in about here. Might squash him down a little bit. Let's get him centered up in here. There we go. Okay. He's back here. All right. I'm going to make a base footing here for those hydraulics to sort of fit into. I wanted it to be more round and angular like the last one, so they look different. Okay, let's get this in here. And there. Looks pretty okay. Bring that forward. There we go. I just had an idea. I saw that there and I thought, hey, that could maybe, even though that was a turret that I used before, maybe I use it a little bit different this time. I like how it's sort of offset there too a little bit, how it's heavier on one side. That looks a little bit different to me and something I haven't seen yet. So that's cool. I like that. Let's go drop that in there about there. Okay. The only concern I have is that might not fit with part of the rough idea that I had. Now I noticed something else here. I noticed that I split a little bit too much more on one side. See if I can go back for a second. Sorry guys, let's go back to there. Let's take this guy, let's move him over a little bit more. It's about there. Let's spread him out a little bit like so. I had another idea too. And see if I can do both ideas real quick. Okay, 1 second. This might be a bad idea, but let's see what happens. If I take this, if I put this inside here, let's say like this. That was my idea. That could be pretty cool, right? As if I had that type of shape with a cut into it. And then you see that in there. That might not be too bad. That could be different. Okay. Then let's go grab that piece again here. It's just sitting there. Let's use it. Turn that guy up. Put him at negative 90 degrees. Okay. Put him at 11 minutes. I got 4 more minutes to build the ship. Spending a little bit too much time here. Okay, let's flip this guy upside down. There we go. That's cool. That is cool. Okay, let's scale this guy down a little bit. Let's get him in a position here. That's going to be part of my leg support there. Let's see if I can't use this here as well too. See if I can blend that in there somehow. That way this guy might be able to rotate more a little bit like this. Okay. Because it's on a sphere. That might work a little bit easier for this guy. So let's try that. Let's take these, let's group these together. Let's take these guys here. Okay, let's move them out. Let's go back to my shape here. Okay, what are we at? 13 minutes. Yeah, it's easier once you get a couple of the core shapes created and finished the way that you like. And now I'm liking this one more because I think that might fit part of the design that I was imagining. Let's go here. Let's put this guy at 90 degrees. Okay, let's take him, bring him back. Let's come back here. All right, I'll come back. Maybe I'll use that as a turret or something. That makes a huge difference when I look in here now. I get rid of some of these other shapes that I have right there, and let's get rid of those guys here. Okay, and use that as a turret or something. Bring this guy in here. Sort of see if we can get him matched up. You know, why don't I just duplicate him so I can put him on the front as well? Oops. Let me back up there, hit another hotkey. There we go. Duplicate, put him up in the front. Let's take this guy, bring him back a little bit here. Okay, let's go ahead, let's rotate him, get him in a position that we like him. Sink him in about there. Okay, it's pretty cool. I like that a lot. I like those round shapes with that type of bend that's in there. That could be really useful for me. And let's see if I can't, let's see if this will all hold together, and hopefully it will. There we go. Cool. So I have some type of a leg system there. I don't like it that long though. It just made it become sort of brittle. So I would attach something else that's onto that in just a second. So what I'll do is let me just delete that side. I can do one side, duplicate it, move it over, and see where I end up. Okay. This thing needs some help. It's dying back here. I don't know. I had that shape, and now I'm thinking of modifying it some other way. Let's see if I can save it. Save me. I can hear my kids in the back playing. Where's Dad? He's on the computer again. There. That might work. Let's go ahead. We'll take that for now. Oops. There we go. Okay. So, I only have a couple more minutes. I promised myself I'd try to do this in 15, and now I hit that 15-minute mark. Yeah, I know. I passed my window. That's okay. Let's go ahead and take this guy here. I'm going to rotate him back. Bring him back. Put this at 90. 90. Oh, not that much. Let's get him in a position. I was thinking something about there. So he's in about 90 degrees there. He has a slight turn on him. Let me see what else to adjust there. Okay. Make him a little bit smaller, bring him down. I want to make this guy a little bit smaller as well. There we go. I'm going to grab my pivot here, insert it down a little bit lower. See if I can't rotate this guy back a little bit like this. This would be, now I'm thinking about flipping him this way. So let me flip that scale in the other way here. There we go. Okay. Let's take a look at it. I think that's good for right now. Okay, let's group. Let me drop that back here into the middle here. See if I can't take this shape. Bring my shape up a little bit more about there. Let's duplicate this body. See if we can't reuse this somewhere else back in here. The rest of my creation. Okay. So go ahead and flip this guy over. Okay, there we go. Let's get him and sort of inserted there. Okay. And I had this other tank tread in the back. Let's just take that for now. I was thinking about if I could use this other guy again here. Let me duplicate that. Let's bring him over here. Let's go ahead. Let's flop him over in negative here. Okay, there we go. All right. There. So let's take a look at what we have here. And I'm missing that part of these other features, these square elements that I had in the back here. So let me see if I can come back here right now and use another couple pieces or so. Let's see if I can't use that guy. And let's grab another piece of typology right in here. Let's see if I can grab this guy in here. See what I can make out of him really quick. Okay. There we go. Let's dive in there. Boom, let's get him, let's rotate him up at an angle, sort of like this. Let's get him locked up in here. There we go. Let's sort of get him back here. Just give me a second here. Let me see how I can, let me get these in about right relationship to each other. There we go, that's not too bad. Then what I wanted to do is come in here and see if I could save myself some time and start doing some extrusion. Alright, so let's pull this guy out here, shift him back up a little bit like this. Oops. And then I had this sort of fan effect, like a bug coming back. So let me see if I can get that going as well. Okay. There we go. Take this, pull this back here as well. Let's see if I can fan that out now a little bit. There we go. That's pretty cool. And let's see if I can do that again here. Let's get this one out here. Get him up to about there. T. Let's go here. So let's bring that out again. About there. Scale that guy out too. Okay. Alright, I had this other shape. I have that tank piece there. I just want to see, I think I can use that somehow in part of my build here. I can get some of that to like come back in here and look like it's some type of segment that meets. It's really round and cartoony right now, but I'm going to adjust that just a little bit here and make it a little bit more wicked looking. Okay, so again, let's take a look. Let's go back here. So I had this front piece coming out here. So let me go back in there. I'm going to make some more adjustments. Okay. So this one thing that's concerning me is the distance from here to the front is really short. So I need to go in there and really exaggerate some other shapes out. So I might actually, I'm not sure if I'm liking that now. Let me see if I can get rid of that. I want to see if I come in here and start grabbing some pieces and what I might be able to get. Maybe some cool designs. Something that's coming back in here. It's sort of dropping down. Scale it in. Let's do it again. Okay, this is really basic too. Let me see if I can manipulate some other shapes in here too. Let's take this face here. Let's take this, extrude this up right here. See if I can scale that down a little bit here. Rotate it in like this. Bring that guy back in a little bit over here. That might add a little bit more. What I should have done, let's go back up there. Let's do it to all three at the same time. Face. Okay, let's try that one more time. Come on, Maya. This piece, this piece, this piece. Face, face, face. Extrude. Okay. So we can bring them in a little bit like that. Let's bring them down a teeny bit. Bring them, oops, up a little bit like so. That's sort of cool. That looks like that could be a neat, like, plate armament of some kind. Still very geometric, which is okay. Oops, wrong one. There we go. So I'm going to sort of throw that down in there like that. And there we go. So let's just take a quick look at that. I have all these other pieces of geometry sort of floating around. I have no guns, no weapons or anything on that yet. I can do that in a little bit here. I don't need to do it right now. Again, going for shape here. Okay, there we go. So let's take what we have here. Let's hide all that in there. Let's say display. Oops, I should have done this before. Should show all. There we go. Now let's hide this stuff that's here. There we go. Okay. So there you go. There's another variation for me. And I want to come into this. I still want to modify that out quite a bit. So far, out of my quick roughs that I have, that's not bad. I really like that one a lot. This is going into a direction that I like. However, I need to get more of what's happening in here. So I have some curves, some other really cool shapes that are taking place. I need to get some hanging hoses. I need to solidify part of this up in here, and I don't have that feeling right now with what's in here. The other thing too, when I'm looking at what my shape design is, these wings or these arms really outweigh it, versus in here the center mass outweighs it. So I need to make some adjustments in there too, and then I'll come back. So because of that, let's just say what would happen right now if I take this, all these pieces that are here, let's say these and this guy here. Okay, what if I group all these together? I'm going to see if I can't bring them and really sort of rotate these up a little bit more like this. And then, what if I stretch them out a little bit? Okay, and since I rotated that, let's ungroup. Let's take this shape here. Maybe he has to become a little bit more like that too. Okay. Let's see if I can't bring some of these up. There we go. Now that's sort of cool. Now that's a little bit more of a changeover from what I had. Bring some of those back in. Get those vertices over as well. Okay, that has a little bit more power to it. Legs are too close together. I feel like that thing would just tip over. I need to bring these out a little bit more here. So what I'm going to do is just do that change, to 1. So I'm going to delete that leg there. I'm going to take this guy here. Let's go inside, find that internal piece that's right in here. Okay, 1 second here. I think that's it. The second group. Nope, the whole group. There it is. So let's see if I can't rotate that guy a little bit more. Down in here, get this in. Yeah, that's sort of cool like that. Gives me more room for hoses and stuff. Now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and take this whole guy. Let's duplicate him here. Now I can see he's like barely hitting that edge there, so I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to flip him over here. And as I go to flip him off to the other side here, type in the negative inverse right there. I'm going to get him to connect in just about the same place, right about that curve. And again, my arrow is right under the center right there. See here, right under the center, so that's not bad. Okay, there. Okay, still very bug-like in its shape, so I can adjust that. I can fix that and add a lot more to the back here. And I could do that, you know. I have that shape there. Let's see what would happen if I contort this guy up a little bit. Yeah, I'm not liking that. Let's see if I mess with this guy a little bit more. Bring that shape down into here perhaps. See if I can bring these out a little bit more like that. Let's avoid the constant 90s in there, right? Let's get some other interesting shapes. See if I can broaden this guy out a little bit here and take some of these vertices in the back here. Okay. All right, so I think what I'll do is I'll pause here at this, come back, you know, I think it's been doing this for a little bit here. It's time to take a break, right? Clear your eyes. And I have 3 rough mock-ups here, and then I could look into my mock-ups. What's really cool, well, the reason why I like doing this is, yeah, I spend about an hour and a half on it or whatever, but now I got parts here. I started fresh on this. Usually when I work on a show, first thing I do is I dive in and find the parts that I really like, and then I have those saved. Because now it's really easy for me to duplicate, create other parts, and add those on to any other element. And then once I get a couple key shapes made, I can easily come in to make some adjustments and go from there and see where I end up. And you know, I could take a render of this and just paint over it too, which is fun. I have dedicated shape there that's making a connection and that's hooking up. So let me pause right here and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Thank you.